Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that I've learned in life. Change doesn't just happen because you want it. It happens because you work for it. Everybody wants success, but very few are willing to put in the discipline to earn it. You can't just wish your way into a better life. You've got to wake up every day and decide, today I'm doing something that moves me closer to my dream. That's the secret. Success requires discipline, not just desire, because desire without discipline is like a car without fuel. It might look good, it might have all the potential to go somewhere, but it's not moving an inch until something powers it. Too many people live their lives waiting for the right moment, waiting for motivation to strike, waiting for the stars to align before they take action. The truth is, success has nothing to do with waiting for the perfect time and everything to do with doing the right thing even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is showing up day after day, especially on the days you'd rather do anything else. It's making a commitment and sticking to it when the excitement fades, when the results aren't immediate, and when the journey feels longer than you expected. People who succeed don't always have more talent or more opportunities. They have the discipline to keep moving forward when most people would have stopped. Discipline means choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure. And that's where many people fall short. It's easier to hit the snooze button than to wake up early to work on your goals. Easier to scroll on your phone than to read a book that feeds your mind. Easier to spend money on things you don't need than to invest it in something that could grow. But every one of those easy choices comes with a cost, and the price you pay for taking the easy way out is staying in the same place. Desire might light the spark, but discipline keeps the fire burning. Without it, that spark dies out the moment life gets tough, because there will always be challenges, setbacks, and moments when you feel like giving up. Discipline is the voice that says, I don't care how you feel today, we're still doing this. And the more you train yourself to listen to that voice, the stronger it becomes. It's like building a muscle. You can't expect to lift something heavy the first time you walk into a gym. But if you keep showing up and keep working at it, you get stronger. The same goes for your self-control, your work ethic, and your ability to stick to a plan. The first few days might be hard, the first few weeks might test you, but if you hold on and keep showing up, discipline becomes a habit, and habits are what shape your life. Discipline takes you beyond the initial burst of excitement and carries you into the reality of hard work, where real progress happens. It's the reason some people keep pushing after failure, while others stop and settle for less than they're capable of. Anyone can want success, but wanting isn't enough. You have to be willing to do what's necessary, even when it's boring, even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one is watching. The greatest achievements in life don't come from flashes of inspiration. They come from consistent effort. Day after day, month after month, year after year, until one day you wake up and realize you built the life you once dreamed about. And it all started with the decision to be disciplined enough to do what needed to be done rather than what was easiest in the moment. 21 days is enough to break old habits and form new ones. Because the human mind and body are incredibly adaptable when given consistent direction. Most people underestimate just how quickly they can start shifting their behavior, thinking it will take months or even years before change can begin to take root. But science and countless real-life examples show that consistent repetition over a short, focused period can begin to rewire the brain. Habits are built through cues, actions, and rewards. And when you deliberately interrupt an old habit loop and replace it with a new one for 21 days straight, you begin training your brain to associate different actions with those cues. The first few days are the hardest because your mind will resist, pulling you back toward what's familiar, even if that familiar pattern isn't good for you. That resistance isn't a sign you're failing. It's simply the discomfort of growth, the tension between your old self and the new self you're trying to become. If you can push through that initial period without giving in, you begin to see cracks in the walls of your old behavior. Around the second week, you might still feel tempted to slip back, but you'll also start to notice small victories, moments where you automatically make the better choice without as much struggle. These moments are proof that change is happening beneath the surface, even if you don't see the full picture yet. By the third week, the new behavior begins to feel more natural, less like a chore and more like a part of your day. That's because your brain is adapting, creating new neural pathways that make it easier to choose the new action over the old one. It's important to remember that the magic of 21 days doesn't mean you're fully transformed in 3 weeks. It means you've built enough momentum for the new habit to have a foundation. From there, maintaining it becomes far less of a battle. What makes the 21-day period so powerful is the focus and urgency it creates. When you tell yourself you're committing to something for 3 weeks, it feels achievable, and your mind doesn't panic the way it would if you said you had to do it forever. It's a mental trick that allows you to get started, and getting started is half the battle. People often fail to change because they set overwhelming goals with no clear starting point. But when you give yourself a defined period and stick to it, you prove to yourself that you can follow through. That confidence carries over into other areas of your life, because once you've broken one old habit, you realize you can break another. And once you've built one positive habit, you understand the process of building more. It becomes a cycle of growth. And it all begins with those first 21 days of consistent action. The most important thing during this period is to keep showing up, even on the days you feel tired or motivated or doubtful, because every time you choose the new behavior over the old one, you are strengthening the pathway in your mind that says, this is who I am now. And with enough repetition, that belief becomes reality. Start small, but stay consistent every single day, because massive change doesn't begin with giant leaps. It begins with tiny, deliberate steps that are repeated over time until they build unstoppable momentum. Too often, people get excited about a goal and try to overhaul their entire life overnight. They change their diets, start an intense workout routine, take on new projects, and demand perfection from themselves from day one. The problem with this approach is that it's unsustainable. The mind and body become overwhelmed, and within days or weeks, motivation fades, exhaustion sets in, and the person slips back into old patterns. Starting small allows you to bypass that burnout. It gives you the chance to master one action at a time, building confidence and resilience with each small win. The power of consistency lies in the compound effect. Just like a small amount of money invested regularly can grow into a fortune over time, small positive actions done daily create massive transformation in the long run. It's not about how much you do on a single day. It's about what you choose to do every day without fail. If you commit to just one new habit, like reading 10 pages a day, exercising for 15 minutes, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for, you may not see dramatic change immediately, but you are setting in motion a chain reaction that will alter your thinking, your habits, and eventually your entire lifestyle. Consistency builds trust in yourself. Every time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that your word matters. That self-trust is critical because it becomes the foundation for taking on bigger challenges. When you skip days or only work when you feel like it, you weaken that trust and it becomes harder to believe in your ability to achieve anything long term. Starting small also removes the excuse that you don't have time. Almost anyone can find 5 or 10 minutes in a day to work on a goal. The real barrier is usually not time, but the lack of a habit. And once a habit is in place, you'll find ways to expand it naturally. Over time, what once felt small and almost insignificant becomes automatic, and you'll be ready to add more without feeling overwhelmed. So another benefit of starting small is that it allows you to focus on the process rather than obsess over immediate results. When you only look for big wins, you risk feeling discouraged if you don't see them right away. But when you commit to daily action, your success is measured by your ability to show up, not by the size of the outcome. This shift in focus makes it much easier to keep going, even when progress feels slow. Consistency turns effort into habit and habit into identity. One day you'll look back and realize you no longer have to force yourself to make the right choice. It's simply what you do. That's the real power of starting small and staying consistent. It transforms success from something you chase into something you live every single day. And over time, those small, consistent steps lead you exactly where you want to go. Focus on progress, not perfection, because chasing perfection is one of the fastest ways to stall your growth and drain your motivation. Perfection is an illusion, a moving target that no one ever truly reaches. Yet so many people hold themselves back, waiting for the perfect time, the perfect skill level, or the perfect opportunity before they take action. The truth is, if you wait until everything is perfect, you will never start. And if you start expecting perfection, you will quit the moment something goes wrong. Progress, on the other hand, is real, measurable, and achievable. It doesn't demand that you get everything right. It only asks that you get better over time. When you focus on progress, you free yourself from the impossible standard of flawlessness and start appreciating the small steps forward. Those small steps may seem insignificant in the moment, but they are the building blocks of lasting success. Every skill you've ever mastered, every challenge you've ever overcome, started with imperfect attempts. You didn't learn to walk without stumbling, and you didn't learn to speak without mispronouncing words. Yet somewhere along the way, society teaches us to fear mistakes. The truth is, mistakes are proof that you're trying, and trying is the only way to grow. When you measure yourself against perfection, every error feels like failure. But when you measure yourself against your own past self, every improvement, no matter how small, feels like victory. Progress also builds momentum. Each time you see evidence that you're moving forward, it fuels your confidence and encourages you to keep going. That's why tracking your efforts can be so powerful. It allows you to look back and see how far you've come, even if you still have a long way to go. This mindset also makes challenges easier to handle because you stop seeing setbacks as the end of the road and start seeing them as part of the journey. A setback doesn't erase the progress you've made. It simply gives you a chance to learn, adjust, and come back stronger. Perfectionists often fall into the trap of all or nothing thinking, where one slip means the entire effort is ruined. This is why so many diets, fitness plans, or personal projects get abandoned after a small mistake, because the focus was on flawless execution rather than steady improvement. Progress-focused thinking removes that pressure. It tells you that one bad day doesn't undo weeks of good days, and one mistake doesn't define you. The key is to keep moving forward, even if some days that movement is slower than others. Over time, the accumulation of small improvements leads to results that perfectionists never see because they were too busy quitting when things weren't perfect. By valuing progress over perfection, you also open yourself up to more opportunities. You're more willing to try new things, take risks, and step out of your comfort zone because you're no longer afraid of not being perfect. You understand that growth is messy. Success is built on failure. And the only real mistake is refusing to start or refusing to continue. This approach turns every day into a win because as long as you're better than you were yesterday, you are on the right path and you are moving toward the life you want. Surround yourself with people who support your growth because the environment you live in shapes your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your future. No matter how determined or disciplined you are, the people around you have a powerful influence on your thoughts and actions, sometimes in ways you don't even notice. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, and small-minded thinking, it becomes harder to dream big or believe in yourself. On the other hand, when you place yourself in an environment filled with encouragement, ambition, and positivity, it becomes easier to push past obstacles and aim higher. The right people don't just cheer for you when you win, they challenge you when you're slipping. They remind you of your strengths when you forget them, and they inspire you by the example they set in their own lives. Being around people who are striving for more naturally raises your own standards because you start to absorb their energy, their mindset, and their habits. That's why success often clusters. People achieving big things are usually connected to others who are doing the same. If you want to grow, you can't stay in circles where no one wants to move forward because their lack of ambition will eventually pull you back down. Sometimes that means making hard choices about who you spend time with. It doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out of your life, but it does mean you need to be intentional about who gets the most access to your energy and attention. You should be around people who genuinely want to see you win, not those who secretly hope you'll fail so they can feel better about staying the same. Supportive people will celebrate your progress without jealousy. They'll give honest feedback without tearing you down, and they'll encourage you to keep going even when the road gets tough. They understand that your growth doesn't threaten theirs, and your success doesn't take anything away from them. Surrounding yourself with the right people also helps you think bigger. When you see someone close to you achieving something that once seemed impossible, it expands your vision of what's possible for yourself. Their wins become proof that your dreams aren't out of reach. This kind of influence is powerful because it works on both a conscious and subconscious level. Your mind starts to believe in possibilities it once doubted. At the same time, the right people will hold you accountable. They won't let you settle for less than you're capable of. And they won't let you give up on yourself just because things get uncomfortable. Accountability partners, mentors, or like-minded friends can push you through moments where you might otherwise quit. It's also important to remember that surrounding yourself with supportive people is a two-way street. You must also be that source of encouragement and inspiration for others. Relationships built on mutual support create a cycle of growth where everyone benefits. As you grow together, you create a powerful network of motivation, resources, and shared experiences that make the journey towards success not only more achievable, but far more rewarding because you know you're not walking the path alone. And every step forward is made stronger by the people walking beside you. Celebrate small wins to stay motivated because success is not just about reaching the big goal at the end. It's about recognizing and appreciating the steps you take along the way. Too many people work tirelessly toward a major achievement without acknowledging their progress. And as a result, they burn out, lose motivation, or feel like they're not getting anywhere. The journey to success is often long and demanding, and if you wait until the very end to allow yourself to feel proud, you miss out on the joy and energy that can fuel you through the tough moments. Celebrating small wins keeps your spirit alive and reminds you that every effort matters. Each small victory is proof that you're moving forward. And that proof is what keeps you from giving up when the results aren't instantly visible. It might be finishing a workout when you didn't feel like it, saving a little more money this week than last, or completing a project ahead of schedule. These moments might seem minor compared to your ultimate goal, but they are the building blocks that make that goal possible. When you celebrate them, you reinforce the habit that led to the win, making it more likely that you'll repeat it. This creates a positive feedback loop in your brain, where accomplishment triggers motivation, and motivation drives more action. Acknowledging small wins also shifts your focus from what's left to do toward what you've already achieved, which helps prevent feelings of overwhelm. If all you see is the distance between where you are and where you want to be, it can feel discouraging. But when you look at how far you've already come, you start to realize that progress is happening, even if it's gradual. This mindset builds resilience because it allows you to appreciate the process instead of constantly chasing the finish line. Celebrating small wins doesn't have to mean throwing a party or spending a lot of money. It can be as simple as taking a moment to pause, smile, and acknowledge that you accomplished something important to you. It can be writing your progress in a journal, sharing your achievement with a supportive friend, or giving yourself a small reward that keeps you motivated. The key is to make the celebration intentional so that your brain connects the positive feeling with the action you took. Over time, this habit not only boosts motivation, but also strengthens your self-belief. When you consistently acknowledge your progress, you start to see yourself as someone who can stick to commitments and make things happen. That identity is powerful because it influences how you approach future challenges. You're no longer hoping you can succeed. You know you can because you've already proven it to yourself in countless small ways. Big goals can sometimes feel far away, but small wins are within reach every day, and each one is a stepping stone that brings you closer to where you want to be. By taking the time to celebrate them, you create the momentum, confidence, and energy needed to keep moving forward no matter how long the road ahead may seem.